Welcome to Blamestorming. Blamestorming. In a post-truth world, there's plenty of blame to go around. 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 Join Dave Cyrus and Marissa Smith as they blamestorm about today's hot topics.
Hey guys, this is Dave Cyrus here for Blamestorming with Marissa Smith.
Hello, people.
We've also got
Wendy Starling
and
Tim Warner.
Here we go, everybody. We were just talking about some stuff. Wendy was complaining about someone. We don't have to say who if you don't want. Who was criticizing her for her lifestyle, but voted for Trump.
Right.
Which, of course, is extremely hypocritical that you're criticizing someone for mild sex
right.
work.
Oh, I'll say who it is. I was on the. I talked about it earlier. It's my mother. We were having conversation, and if you don't know, now you know. I wish we had the guy in your intro doing my backup. Now you know. Now you heard. Word. I like the British that fed it up. Like, this is about to be smart, people. Get ready.
I'm pretty sure his name is Nigel.
They've got accents. But no, I had a sugar daddy. Had two for a while. Sold my panties. Worked a couple sex parties, so I've
mild sex work.
Yeah, and then I was having a conversation with my mother, and I said, it's great because it's like acceptable now. I said, because the first lady, she's a former escort,
allegedly
married, right? But I'm like,
well, by some standards, it's either alleged or just literally anyone who would marry him for his money. You could call that is like the least of it,
right?
She's at least a gold digger.
Right, she's at least a gold digger.
Minimally
she at least,
gold digger,
and she
allegedly.
came over, and again, and not to be cunty, but here's what's crazy is I feel like as the liberal, explaining this to my conservative mother, I was like, this is such a backwards world that there's no way we're not in some kind of weird computer simulation. Because
right.
I was telling my mom, I go, Mom, think about it. She's an immigrant. She was not a citizen. She was doing like back page escort work in her home country, and she married this ugly rich guy. Came over. Think about it, Mom. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is very backwards because I actually don't care.
Yeah,
but I was just
right.
trying to get her to own up.
She's a hypocrite.
Right, exactly. And it's weird. So we were having this conversation about how the right, especially the religious right that voted for Trump, they now, how can you vote for him and all? He's morally corrupt.
So what happened is your mom thought for a second she could use this morality, and he said, no, Mom, don't you remember you live in the new world where you don't care about someone's moral character?
Right.
Yeah.
You don't. Republicans never, ever, ever get to talk about anyone else's morality forever. But what I was going to say is, here's what you could have just said to your mom.
Yeah.
Because your mom said she was never an escort, and your mom trusts Trump. Why don't you just say to your mom, Mom, I was never an escort.
Don't you trust me?
Mom, I was never a sex worker.
Yeah.
So you trust when Donald Trump says something to you that you can prove is fake and you just believe it for no reason, but your daughter you don't?
I'm an artist with patrons.
I like it.
Not even that. Just say, Mom, I was never a sex worker.
Yeah.
And just every time you see her, be like, never a sex worker, never a sex worker, never a sex worker. If she trusts Trump, it'll work on her too.
Yeah.
Well, what is worker?
Exactly. What is a sex worker?
Yeah. What is a sex worker?
Yeah, is that being you? Like, is that you being on top?
It's
yeah.
Like, because I would be a lazy. I'd be a sex lazy.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing, lazier?
I mean, when Alex Jones was complaining, they took down some of the more provably lying videos from InfoWars from Facebook, and everyone gets mad like it's censorship. Why don't you just say to those people, they never took them down. They're still there. Prove it. Prove they're not there. You didn't find it. Like, these people live on lies.
Right.
These people survive on constant. And the thing about Alex Jones and Trump is that the lies they tell, they're not really lies that they think they're going to win with. They're just lies that they just say as a fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
They're just saying, no, didn't happen. Like, they know you're not going to believe it.
Right.
They just think this is the way they can shut down the conversation.
Do you know what it reminds me of? My niece, I just went back to visit. She lives in LA. Not by herself, with her mother, my sister. But so like she's 3 and she's just learning to lie. But it reminded me, I was Donald Trump when I read his tweets or when I see him. I just start laughing. So my niece, she's learning to lie, and she's 3, so she's tiny, and she had her iPad and we were going out in the backyard for backyard hangout time, and she brings her iPad, and her dad goes, "Hey, Annabelle, iPad in the house. We're doing outside family time. No iPad." She goes, "Okay." And then she walks in, and like 2 seconds later, she walks back out. The iPad is clearly behind her back. She's just holding it with her 2 hands, and she's sidestepping so none of us can see behind her back. And her dad goes, "Hey, Annabelle." And she goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "What's behind your back?" And she goes, Nothing. And then she's bold-faced lied. But that's Donald Trump. That's
Every
how
day.
he communicates. He
Every
just says
single
to
day.
You're like, are you a toddler? You think we don't see the iPad behind your back?
Here's
Yeah.
the problem. Did she get punished for that?
Yes.
Because she honestly, like, I feel like you're a bad parent if you don't treat that with like some kind of seriousness.
Yeah.
That, like, when your child is lying, I think that's not something people really acknowledge anymore. That lying is bad.
They think it's funny and it's cute. And here's what happened. So he was like Annabelle, and so she like. So they didn't laugh. I'm the bad one because I think it's funny, but they get it's a problem.
They're right.
And so so she started to like sneak back inside with it, and they were like, no, you're not going to come back outside, turn around. And she had to show the iPad, and they're like, okay, why are you lying? And now the punishment is you don't get your iPad for the rest of the day. And it was early day. And like for her, she's 3, so that was a big deal.
Yeah.
But so that was her punishment, and she sat out there and was mad, but it's like, oh, well, you can't lie.
Who was she
Right.
mad at? Her parents?
Yeah, I think she was just mad. I mean, she's 3, so she doesn't understand to be upset with herself yet.
And the problem
Right.
is we live in a country now where people don't unlearn how to act like 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You're supposed to be like that when you're 3, but you're supposed to be taught like a good parent. Like you said, her parents took away the iPad, which is, I mean, I think honestly, the best thing a parent should do when even a 3-year-old is doing something like that, you have to take that iPad and just smash it to pieces right in front of them and scream until they get the point, and that's how they'll be good, balanced people.
I agree.
So, I have a question a little bit off topic, only slightly, but kind of a bit about acting like good adults, I guess is the thing. Now, all three of
I can't
you
answer this.
All right.
Tim's like,
but you can. You're actually more qualified than you think. So now, all 3 of you are non-people of color.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So recently, there was a woman of color, an Asian woman of color, that was hired by the New York Times that had made some tweets that were making fun of people of non-color.
White people.
I feel like I can't
don't think I've
say
ever heard
that.
the words people of non-color my entire life.
Let me tell you, and before you go on your story, first of all, we can all just say
But
white.
if I'm white, isn't that a color?
No, I don't get offended by that. I was just at the Beyonce concert, and Jay-Z, and I was dancing, and I was in the front area, and I was dancing my ass off, and I was so excited. And like there were, and I'm gonna say black people because it wasn't people of color, but there were very few white people in there, and it was like me, and then like 3 other people dancing, and I'm 36, and a 36-year-old white lady was dancing, and at one point I turned, and there were like 7 black people just videotaping me and laughing on their phones, and I was like, oh, I don't care because I'm having fun.
Yeah.
So you know.
You're
And I wasn't like, I bet they're videotaping me because I'm like a good dancer. I 100% knew it's like because I'm a white girl dancing and it probably looks whack and I just don't care. So you can call me white.
Also, be
I don't care.
fair. Those sound like, I promise you, those are not the most funny people either. The people who are like, I'm going to videotape the white girl dancing. Those sound like fairly boring individuals already.
Yeah, but so I was very
Like,
aware.
if that's what they look at, if that's what they're just like laughing at, it's like, ugh.
And but also that I'm 36.
You're too easy. You're too easy to please.
They're like, oh, she brought her daughter to the concert. So you can call me white, is what I'm saying. Keep going.
Yeah, just say
So, to be honest though, like I try not to. I try like
no
when
one's
I'm
offended by the word white.
Yeah, no,
Literally
yeah,
no
yeah.
one.
well.
Literally no
According
one.
to this article, people
Okay.
were offended
Oh, God.
because
What
Because she
happened?
said she hated white people, not because
She
she
didn't
called them white.
no, she didn't say that she hated white people. She said
Burn
that
them
oh God Christ,
Did
I'm
she
on
say
fucking
anything?
airplane mode.
But I mean, are you really gonna
no, it was
compare
just
saying, I hate
basically-
What?
She didn't say she hated white people. She said that she enjoyed I think ruining old white men's day.
It's not that far from what I said.
Oh, I do the same thing. I love, old white people. I love ruining their days.
It's like, but like that ruining their day and hating
In
them is
what
completely
way?
different.
Yeah, how does she ruin?
I cannot.
Was it
pull
like
up
a
the-
joke tweet?
Yeah, it was a joke tweet,
Okay.
and so
Was the joke funny? If it's
Yeah,
funny,
yeah.
I don't
First
care.
of all, yeah.
I found it funny, but I'm a person of color.
Okay.
But like, but it kind of like goes back to whether or not, are you pulling it up right now?
Yeah. Here's the quotes, so we can talk about it.
Okay.
Oh man, it's kind of sick how much I enjoy, how much joy I get out of being cruel to old white men. White people marking up the internet with their
Same
opinions
here.
like dogs pissing on fire hydrants. Cancel white people. Look, I mean,
I mean,
can't-
are
can't
these
disagree.
offensive?
I mean, it
Put any
sounds-
other race. Put any other race in there and
Yeah,
tell me
say it
if
again. Say
Put
it
any
again
other
with
race
black
in
people.
the word white
All
and
right.
see if people
You
will
know
get
what?
Say it
mad.
again with black
You
people.
know what? I'm going to say it with another race,
Please.
another discriminated race,
Please.
and we're going to see just how okay this
Yes.
is. Oh man, it's kind of sick how much joy I get out of being cruel to old Basque men. Would you be okay with that if it was about the Basques?
Yeah, fuck the Basques.
Wow. So if I said cancel Basque people, that's something we're all going to get. No, but of course, replacing it with something other than white would be bad. But because white isn't really a protected
Oh,
class,
first of
it's
all-
not really an ethnicity.
First of
itself.
all, forgive me. Who is this person?
She's a woman who was hired by the New York Times.
Okay.
to be a
The
tech
text,
writer.
yeah, she's a tech
And
writer.
so people are mad that her tweets. Now, if her
So who cares?
worst tweet
Yeah, but
is
also, yeah,
Who
who gives a
cares?
shit? If that
Who
person,
cares?
how much joy I get out of being cruel to old
But
white men,
who
which
cares?
which she said was meant to be sarcastic.
Right.
And I think that joke policing in general from both directions is really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Because you end up kind of taking away the ability to really talk about people who actually did something wrong
Mhm.
by trying to say that a joke is as bad as a real statement. Now, I don't know enough about this to say whether or not she's being honest when she said it was a joke. If she just hates if she does hate white people, if she does, she's an Asian woman in America.
I don't blame you.
It's not exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's a conversation we should.
We got a
have.
bad history.
Well, this is the whole thing, though. It's like, can you make fun of white people?
Well,
uh,
it has to be a degree.
not while they're a majority. And that's a limited time only while supplies last. That's going to change.
Well, no, you can.
But I
make
feel
fun
like
of-
you can
If-
only
No,
do
I
it.
think you can.
make fun
But-
of it
but-
because
Only
they're black.
because it's a majority.
But when people start fucking hyping, yeah, right now it's going to suck.
These tweets are borderline. These tweets
Yeah,
are
they're
borderline.
fine.
They're
That's
borderline
fine.
because when you're saying I just enjoy being cruel to old white men. First of all, it's ageist. But really, the point is, the answer is it okay?
Maybe
to
she's a
hate-
dominatrix.
Is it okay to dislike white people? Is it okay to make fun of them? The answer is how. If you were actually there's a point to where yes, it's okay to not want to hire someone if they're saying things like "kill all the fucking white people" and not like as a joke. Because
Right.
then you'd be like, well, this maybe isn't a good person for this job. Doesn't mean
Right.
they should be arrested. Doesn't mean they should be banned from something. But it means you have a right to hire who you want to hire and not have a PR problem. This
Right.
women's are kind of borderline. I
Yeah,
could
she's
see them-
having fun.
But
they're
like,
kind- they're
so
kind
for
of
me,
jokes.
I
Yes.
kind of like.
Yes.
So from my perspective, I can draw back on being in stores, and I was in a CVS in Westchester. It was raining. I had my umbrella, I had my purse, I had a fucking raincoat on and rain boots. I'm shopping, and this older white woman comes up to me, and she's just like, "What aisle is the Tylenol in?" And I just turned to her and I said, "I don't know. I don't work here." And then she's like, "Well, I didn't ask you if you worked here. I asked you what aisle the Tylenol is in." And now
Well, she was
this
embarrassed.
is,
She mistook you for an employee. She's being
but like this is
bitch
why
about it.
this
Yeah.
is why I'm explaining that I had on rain
It's
boots,
right here.
an umbrella,
Yeah.
a raincoat, and my purse. Literally, I look
Which
like
store
I'm
was this?
CVS.
Yeah.
So maybe but I'm just playing devil's advocate here because I had something happen where I looked like it made me look like an asshole, but I'm like, I wasn't being like a racist piece of shit. Then I'll tell you, this is the craziest thing. What if she's not from the area and she's never been to CVS? You don't know if she's having a panic attack. She sees you and she just sees you walk in. And what if she's like, "Hey, do you know where this shit is in the store?"
I mean, the belief that it had to be because you're black is possible.
Yeah.
But it's not definite, right?
But if you're carrying all your stuff, it's pretty clear that you don't
work there.
Right.
So like then she's like, "Well, I didn't ask you if you worked here. I asked you where the Tylenol was." And I turned to her and I said, "I don't get paid to speak to you. Move along, ma'am." And she was just like, and like she was just like, and she was just looking at me like I just like shat in the pool. But it was just kind of like, you know, something like people actually get paid to talk to you. Like, you don't need to come over here and asking me where shit is. Like, I owe you a fucking
I see.
explanation.
I would have said aisle 911.
yeah. I mean,
It's
she
just
definitely
like-
sounds
That's
like there's something
me.
wrong with this
No,
woman,
like she's
obviously.
but like this, like it's not even just like because I've had like older like Latino ladies that ask me also I don't know why, but it's always like some sort of drugstore. And like someone asked me how much a card costs.
You know, you literally wear a red vest every day, right?
Oh, I'm wearing
Yeah.
one now.
Yeah.
You know, that's how. Why do people think they can't see your legs? I put my red vest over them.
Yeah.
But to be fair, and if I'm spazzy, I've walked in stores, and especially when I like move to another neighborhood, if I go in and I can't figure out where shit is, and I see somebody calmly, even if they're shopping, I've done that multiple times. Where I go, "Hey, I'm sorry to bother you. Do you know where this is, the Midol is, or whatever?" Like I've done that before.
Why does that bother you?
Because I specifically think they think that I work there, and that's what pisses me off. Because
that you're
like,
better than CVS.
No, what pisses me off is that they think that they have the right to just assume that they can talk to me. Because I've been in, like, I've worked in Blockbusters, I've worked in fucking ice cream shops, I've worked in these situations.
Right.
I don't want to talk to you. Like,
But they don't
Barely-
know any of that.
But is that what you're mad at? The fact that they talk to you?
yes.
Like, if they said anything, you would have been upset.
You really...
Like,
Like, even if
Anything-
it's just like, you like Red Bulls? Like, would
anything
you have been
other
upset?
than, hey, like, if you're just kind of giving me a greeting, then I'm fine with a greeting.
Okay.
But if you are asking me information that people are actually paid to give, now I'm pissed off.
Because I get people asking me for cigarettes all the time. I don't get mad. I just
Well,
go,
but
I don't
That's
have any.
that
Because you
is
look
like a
like you're made of
social.
cigarettes.
Yeah.
That's a social thing.
Well, but
that's
so then-
not
You
that's
look
not
like-
like an economic construct because to
Tim
me it's
looks-
like I automatically they think that I'm working in this store or that even if I'm not working in this store that even though people get paid to do the thing that they're asking me to do, they don't owe me a salary for doing this thing.
I'm
That's
gonna-
why I don't
I'm
give
gonna-
pictures.
here's what-
But do you
Like
think,
when people ask
Okay.
me on a street, like, "Oh, can you take a picture of me?" I'm automatically no.
but do you have situations where you have...
So you're just not a people person.
But do you have...
Fuck people.
Do you
100%.
think
Yeah,
that-
so it's
100%.
No, I'm not being shitty
I
because I
agree.
love you and we're friends.
Yeah.
I
but
agree.
I got to be honest with you. I'm one of these people that if I'm out, I like to talk to people and be
100%.
friendly. And I went the health food store around the corner from
If
where
she
I live.
wasn't white, would that have bothered you?
No, I still
If
would
it
be.
was-
I would just ignore. I wouldn't be offended. I just ignore you.
Okay, in that case, let's bring it back to this woman's tweets.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have two things that I think are that I would say about this.
Go
One-
on, pantsless Dave.
One, that the woman that
Yeah.
I would say there seems to be a problem of nuance here because I think it's an Asian woman hating white people. If that's what what
Which
this
makes
was.
sense.
I'm not saying that
It makes
an
sense.
Asian woman
Yeah.
who hates white people
It makes sense.
is not. Yeah, I don't think is as indicative of a toxic culture as when the person in power, a white person, hates her. But that doesn't make it okay. That doesn't make it good. It just means it's less bad.
Can't
I would
match
say that-
hate with
I would
hate.
say bigotry doesn't speak well of you as a person, no matter what, and it doesn't necessarily mean that this woman is on that threshold. I'm just saying that you can both say that there's a big difference between racism and bigotry, but that doesn't mean that all bigots are simply good people because they're not racist. But also, this woman is being. This is about her having a job, and people are calling this hypocritical to say that they're keeping her and that when she said these things. But I mean,
Great thing about
is it-
this country is you're allowed every opinion.
Yeah, I guess that's what the question was. Is
Can you make fun of white people?
Yes.
Well, is that making fun of them or just saying she hates them? Is it if it was a joke?
No, I think the
that's
title of
fine.
the article is "Can you make fun of white people?"
Yeah.
Well,
isn't
yeah,
it?
but the article isn't like written by God. We can still like say
Right.
that
That's
it's-
and that's a misleading title because just because you know what I'm saying because you're like, well, that's a difference. Now there's a difference. Like those women videotaping me at the Beyonce, they're probably videotaping that and they're gonna go laugh at me like, look at this dumb white girl dancing. Right. I personally
Right.
don't care. I was
whatever.
having fun, but that's my general personality. Is a lot of people have not liked me as far as I've long as been alive. Going to be a lot more, and there's nothing I can do about it, and I just got to
Right.
move on. Right. People. This is not to get all positivity on you, but like my favorite thing that I read, and I think about it every day. There are only two things you can control today: attitude and effort. And I think about that every day. I can control my
100%.
attitude
That's
and my
great.
effort, and that's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, so like even someone walking up to you know what I'm saying, like I'm trying to control my own anxiety levels and all that bullshit. Anyway, back to the point. Those women videotaping me, that's making fun of white people. Or specifically me,
No.
right? So
No,
that-
it's
so-
not making fun of white people.
No,
it's
no.
making fun of you.
Right.
It's like Elaine dancing.
Well, right, but
on
that's
Seinfeld.
what I'm saying. But no,
Although
but
they
I
could also be
You're
like,
not making
oh, this
fun of
white
white
girl's
people
really
because
getting
of-
down.
But here's the thing. Let's go back to the point of this article.
Or it could
Again, first of all, I'm not mad about their videotaping.
Because
I'm-
I've seen you dance. Like, you don't dance like, like you don't know how to dance.
Right, but let's go back to I want to just like hit this point. There's a difference in making fun of, because the title of that article is "It Okay to Make Fun of White People?"
Of course.
So, but then those tweets, so that's a misleading title because that's already setting it up like this is a lot of bullshit. Get ready to read this woman make. So the difference in making fun of somebody and then being hateful would be if they were to videotape me and like I wasn't saying I don't know why they did it, but if the purpose of them videotaping was to be like, look at this goofy white bitch dancing, right?
Right.
Now, I happen to be white. I don't believe that they videotape all white people. I don't really give a shit, right?
Yeah, but
just
you're
for
a
the
goofy motherfucker on
just
top
for,
of it.
Right, but just for the sake of this conversation, right?
Okay.
And I honestly like don't really give a shit. Like I'm not like I can't believe they're making fun of white people. I for real don't give a shit. But like for the sake of the argument, that would be making fun of if that was the reason they're videotaping it, right? And if they went home and they were like, look at this white lady, and if they made a habit of videotape, right, which is crazy, that's probably not happening. But if that were the case,
definitely happening.
that's making fun of, right?
Right.
Now, if when I was dancing, instead of going like, oh, that's silly and cute that she's dancing, they went up and they were like, then they like started like screaming at me, die, whitey, die. That's not making fun of. Now that's being hateful. So
Right.
So there's a difference in being like, this is a silly video, and then being like, cancel white people. Cancel
Okay.
white people at Beyonce. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a difference. There's a difference in
So-
making fun.
So if the
I
caption
feel like
was
being
cancel.
hateful.
I'm the wrong person to talk to.
I don't feel like cancel white people is being hateful.
What about
I don't.
What
I'm
about
the wrong-
comment
yeah.
under her video was the same comment the woman made on Twitter that said, "I get so much joy out of being cruel to old white women."
Yeah, if it said old white women.
You're
Would you
not
get-
old.
But
Yeah,
they said it to
see,
be mean.
again, who gives
Yeah,
a
like-
shit? You're fucking
No, no,
dead in
I
the
don't
end.
know.
Who cares?
See, like
Well, it's not that big a deal.
like
but
that's me.
it doesn't mean
Yeah,
This is
I'll
why
say,
I'm
like-
awful at this argument.
No, but that
Who gives a
actually
shit?
that's
This
why
is
you
why I'm
begin-
having so much of a problem with this
Here's
because
the thing.
like,
I'm
part
not
of
arguing.
me
I'm saying I'm
is
just doing it like a
Right,
debate
no,
class.
I
I
have
hear you.
a lot
But
of
who gives a shit?
friends
I know.
that, and I have friends and family that
Like even if
are
it was hateful, who gives a shit?
non-people of color.
You're not going to see
But
them
at
again.
the same time,
Who
I
cares?
feel like the oppressor can't be oppressed. So, like, I kind of feel like, well, slavery, colonialism, like, I don't know that you can be upset about somebody
Well, we're
tweeting
talking-
about this.
We're not talking about a woman who's the ancestors of slaves or colonized people, are we? We're talking about the ancestors of.
Well, if she's Asian, it's possible, like, that
Well, she
her...
wasn't enslaved in America, right?
Maybe,
but her
and maybe in
lands could've been colonized.
1940,
I'm not saying. Yeah, she could have been
after
interned,
Pearl
sure.
Harbor or whatever else,
Oh, no,
maybe
I'm
they
not
were put in
defending that.
camps.
What
Oh.
if she was adopted
she's
by white
Japanese,
people that forced her to play
maybe.
the piano?
But
I'm
regardless,
trying to get-
regardless, who gives a shit?
I'm
We're all
just-
fucking dead in the end. Who cares?
I'm just trying to get Marissa to say something negative about Asians. you didn't get where I was leading this to. I was trying to get her to say.
But that's
not going to
me.
happen right now.
But I guess. But
Mom is trying to make Blasians.
But that's actually the point. Is that
Ah.
yes, you're right. But you're actually making a correct point that you cannot oppress the oppressor. Does that mean that it is all or nothing? If you're white, there is literally nothing that a person should even not get a job for saying about.
This is why I said that I'm having a problem because, like, I feel like
She's like, I'm in a room with white people, but I also hate you.
no, like if there are any white people I love, they're in this room right now.
Yeah, I won't disagree with that.
Just do not ask me
But that's what I'm
where the
saying.
fuck anything is in this room.
That's what I'm saying. Just because it's not
Bitch, pay
racism,
me.
Racism is not the only bad thing a person.
I'm
can
not
do.
telling you where the Tylenol is.
Oh.
Where's my non-fitty?
If an Asian, if a Korean person harasses you when they walk into your store and accuses you of stealing, that's not racism, but it's still wrong.
That's a trick question and a riddle because the Korean is
both.
the owner of the store.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
They are both the oppressed and the oppressor.
But no, you're saying it's not racism because they're not oppressors, but it's still wrong.
But in
Still
the store, they
bigoted.
are the oppressor.
It's still bigoted. Well, then, yeah, but they don't have to own the store to do it. I'm saying if a Latino person says something racist to you, she may not be acting with racism because she's not the person in power. But she's still,
No,
she's still being
Latinos are mad
bigoted.
racist.
She's still being, but she could be bigoted and look. There's prejudice and bigotry can be against anyone. racism has to do more with the power structure of the nation you're in, right?
Yeah, but Latinos are
that's not
definitely
the point.
racist.
Everyone,
They are.
Everyone.
They're super
has-
racist.
Everyone has racism. Every group has racism in it.
No, this is true. Like, even black people are like racist within, like, you know, shades, and it's like team like dark against team light, like the whole thing.
Well, you're gonna act like
but-
there's no black people who dislike other races besides whites. I mean, look, all people have racism in their cultures. All people have people that they should be ashamed of on their side.
Yeah.
It's much worse when you are the actual people in power and you're able to hurt generations of people. But
Right.
that doesn't mean that excuses literally anything else. Is all I'm saying. And I'm not saying this woman's tweets were on that level, but I think they are kind of. And when they call them sarcastic, did they look sarcastic? Or did they just kind of look like someone who just maybe doesn't like white people and just want to talk about it? It's not like she said kill them. It's not like she said it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
Right.
But is it really that hypocritical?
At the end of the day, people just want attention, whether it's the Asian lady for saying her things or it's the white people for bitching. We all want attention. None of
Yeah.
it matters. Who cares? We're all dead in the end.
But we still have time
should
to
have
go.
a better. I know that, but we should all have more of a sense of humor about who and what the fuck we are. None of us love to accentuate our flaws, and we should accentuate our flaws.
Cancel white people does seem like it seems like a cutesy thing. That would not offend me. But saying I love being cruel to white people.
Delete. Then I got a problem.
And white people's opinions are
Because
like
every
piss.
show that gets
Yeah, you
canceled
don't-
is having a reboot right now. So, like, you'll just come back in 20 years. It's
Yes.
fine.
Look, it's
Yes.
okay for her to say those things, but it's also like I don't.
It's perfectly fine for her to say those things.
Yeah.
In this country, it's perfectly fine for her to say all of those
No,
things.
she should have the right to say all those things.
Yes.
But is every employer obligated to not care about that, even if they think it might hurt their bottom line? Is it wrong of an employer to say, well, I mean, there's worse things you could have said, but we need to be careful and we don't want to, create problems? Is what she said, because they keep saying like it's a joke, but these didn't look like jokes. They just looked like a person's opinions.
She could just
has
not
every
be a
right to
funny
tweet.
person, though.
Did you
Like,
really-
you and I could say the same thing and probably make it sound
I
funnier.
don't think she was being sarcastic. They don't look sarcastic.
I gotta tell you, I was dating somebody for a while, and I remember he was saying something shitty. He would make like some shitty comment, and because he had a terrible sense of humor, which is why it did not work out. But I can remember I would say something like make some smart, like make like a joke and be like, say like a cutesy jokey thing, and then he would be like, hey, knock it off. He's like, watch your mouth. He would say, watch your mouth. Don't like watch it with the jokes, right? And I remember being like, okay, first of all, that's like what I do for my job, and
Right.
and I was like, okay,
And you're funny as fuck.
and then I said something, and he goes, well, no, I just don't appreciate you making fun of me. I go, no, baby, when I tried to explain, I said, no, I'm being sarcastic. Like,
I'm teasing you.
yeah, I go,
Yeah.
that's how I show affection.
Yeah.
I'm teasing you. And people that don't understand humor and sarcasm, when they say something shitty and then people call them out and they go, it was a joke. And you're like, it's not a joke. They go, sarcasm?
That's what every Trump
Right.
supporter does
That-
now. They all say it's a joke when they say what they mean. That's why when Trump's on stage and he says something like Maxine Waters, low IQ, everyone behind him laughs. Not because he's joking, but because they're getting a thrill out of the toxic, disgusting way he's acting.
Yep.
Right.
Like the way a serial killer feels good.
But do you
stabbing someone.
find that same feeling when you read those?
No, not on
Okay.
that level. Not on
Okay.
that level. But I do see this as I think you're bullshitting when you say this is
But it's a
sarcasm.
Oh,
tweet.
for sure.
Who cares?
I'm not-
It's a
No,
like.
I'm not
Right?
saying it should be the end of the world for her. I'm not saying she should be hounded.
Right.
But there are some jobs when your job has to do with media where they're going to scour your tweets and say.
And what's her job? I'm
Her
sorry,
job would
I
be
might have missed
Like
that.
a tech writer for
a
the
reporter
New York
for the New York
Times.
Times. A reporter for the New York
Okay.
Times.
Okay.
So that's a job where you can lose people if you had a certain hatred towards one group. Even if it's white people. That's the least bad group to hate. But
Right.
it doesn't mean that
For
openly
now.
hating them is something that is 100%
But, like, to be
good.
100% honest, I feel like if we met this woman, that she probably has dated, like, probably 75% white dudes.
You know.
Why?
Like,
why
I
is
just-
that? Why is that, Marissa? Say it, because Asian guys have little.
I'm not
Misogyny in
saying
their culture.
that.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a little misogyny in their culture. That's
Yeah.
true. Just like many others.
Do it.
I don't
Do
know.
it.
But
I probably would have done
Bank
blow with that.
accounts.
I would have done blow with that Asian chick in a heartbeat,
Yeah.
here's the thing. I understand.
and I wouldn't
why-
have fucked her.
I completely understand why anyone would hate white people.
I get it.
If you're looking at all people as a representative of every other person that looks like them, which, kind of is where racism comes from. But the whole point is, I do get it, and I don't think it's anywhere near as insidious as attacking a person who is out of power. But I still don't like you.
But I mean, at the
I
same
still don't like
time,
you as
like
a
you could
person.
say, like, okay, now I find Ann Coulter to be completely repugnant and
Yeah,
racist,
she's a horrible person.
Yeah.
but like she also dated black guys.
Yeah, but she's a horrible. What does that have to do with anything?
So like, what I'm saying is
Thomas
that,
Jefferson was still a racist.
and he had a lot of black babies.
Yeah.
But like this woman, I think that she can say negative things about white people without being 100% racist. The same as Ann Coulter can say that she's saying negative things about people of color and also say that she is not 100% racist.
Well, this woman's not racist. She's being what we're talking about is prejudice. She's being prejudiced against white people. She's not racist because white people are in power, but because racism, prejudice, all racism is prejudice, but not all prejudice is racism.
Right.
So I'm just
She's
saying,
a bigot.
Of course, she can say these things, but there are certain jobs where if you talked about one individual person like you hated them, they might say, I don't want, if you just ranted about Kim Kardashian, they might say, you're being too obsessed with Kim Kardashian. I don't want you to work here.
There's too many white people that are fucking losers. That just who gives
Backyard
it, like,
Becky's.
yeah, who gives it? Like, this
And
is
they
my
should
thing.
all
Who
pay.
gives a shit? This blows me. Who gives a shit?
Well, it's because
I know
right-wing
this is
people-
an article and this is a thing. She works for the New York Times. But at the end of the day, who gives a shit? Like, you make it. Just like happiness is not a feeling. It's a choice. You can either choose it or you could choose depression.
Man, I
and
don't-
now you're going to sit here and just choose to go, hey, wait a minute. This Asian woman offended me. If it was a white woman, it probably wouldn't offend you. Who cares? Who gives a fuck what someone says?
Well,
you
hold
still
on.
have to go to work.
Tim.
You still have to raise your kids. You still have to fucking feed your family. Like, who gives a shit
Let's keep
what
it-
one person says?
Let's keep this honest. If this was
Yeah.
a white woman with a job at the New York Times who had tweets like that about Asians, we would never know this
Like
story.
Asians,
'cause she
but I'm
never
not
would've
saying
had
Asians.
a fucking chance at the job.
Right.
She would be
100%.
railroaded
Yeah.
out of as she should be because it is worse when it's the minority.
But I'm talking if it was a white woman saying this about white people.
Yeah,
Who gives
but
a
like
shit?
I'll say that
Well,
Bush.
yes, it's different
So-
when it's your own people.
so
People don't get
who-
as mad. But you would also
And
look
the
like
thing
a
is,
complete
it's
fucking
just
tool. if she
it's
did.
just
Right.
it's just people that have fucking nothing going on in their lives.
will
So
say
Bush
that
Senior.
need to fucking manifest some
I will
bullshit
say that if she was a white woman saying this
in
about
order
white
to
people,
make
she'd be stealing from
themselves
black
feel
people.
important.
Yeah, that's-
White people who rant about white people on Twitter are appropriating black culture, and I think they're racist. I 100% believe that. I think every time I see a white person on
Funny.
Twitter being like, "Oh, white people like this," I'm like, "I'm sorry, don't you mean we?" Any white person who refers to white people as white people and not us is a fucking hypocrite and appropriating black culture.
Like,
Thank you.
I don't.
But, like-
I don't understand how our culture gives
But
a shit about
I disagree with Dave on the fact that if she was a white person talking about Asians, that she wouldn't have a job because
At the New York Times,
tweets. No,
all right, so
never.
no.
but like
Her last
father
article
Bush-
would have been an apology.
Bush Senior used to talk about his half Mexican grandkids as the brown ones, and everyone is still okay with that. I mean, you can't
And what-
call.
What's the quote?
So basically, like Bush Senior has some grandchildren that are half Mexicans, and he refers to those grandkids as the brown ones.
Are you sure?
And that's also 20 years ago.
30 years ago. 1988 is the quote.
And
Oh,
he-
Jesus, it is 38.
So it's 30
wow,
years ago.
it is 30.
I mean, I literally had someone the other day say white feminists are racist, and I said, do you have an example? And she said suffrage. And I'm like, that hasn't existed in 98 years. If that's your only example, you need new examples. Like, you can't just say, well, 100 years ago when everyone was racist, they were too. Sorry, go on.
I don't know, because you're gonna get me on some white feminist bullshit. But
Well, I think
like-
hatred of white I think hatred of white feminists is just a way to attack feminism.
I
in
just
general.
don't understand who gives a
I'm
shit
a
about a tweet.
feminist, but like
If you're telling
okay.
every
That's
white
why
woman that she's
Trump
a
is
racist
president.
for being
Who gives a
feminist, you're not
shit
feminist.
about a fucking tweet?
Wait, what are you saying?
If you are
A twit.
ascribing the idea that all white women who believe in feminism are therefore racist because they're white feminists, you're not a feminist.
No, I don't think that white women that believe that they're feminist are racist. My problem with white feminists is that they believe that slut shaming is feminism. That is my problem. Because slut shaming is actually...
It's a non-racial thing we're talking about.
No, slut shaming is actually a bullying problem. It's not a feminist problem because men can be sluts.
Mainstream feminism
My
is
problem
very
is really
anti-slut-shaming.
like
Okay,
as
I
far
like
as
that.
feminism goes, I want to be paid the same. I want reproductive rights. I want to have all of the same amenities that men are allowed. The fact that you fuck a guy that calls you a slut is not a problem with feminism. It's a problem with the men that you're fucking.
Are you saying that your problem with white feminism is that they shouldn't be so anti-slut shaming?
No, my problem with white feminism is that they are trying to hijack a movement for a personal problem. You fucking the wrong dude is not a problem of all women. It's a problem of your own choosing.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not really familiar with that aspect.
You
of
understand slut shaming.
Yeah, and I'm trying to.
it.
First of
what
all,
side of this are you on?
This
I'm
is-
actually.
I'm a
I
black
can't- I
feminist,
can't
obviously.
No, I'm saying of
I can't
slut
talk.
shaming.
Like,
No, I'm saying of slut shaming. What
I'm out.
side are you on of this? I'm confused by what you're.
so for me, slut shaming is not a problem of feminism. It's a bullying problem. I feel like
So you're saying we should not be invoking "don't call a woman a slut" the way we are, is what you're saying.
no, you shouldn't call a woman a slut, but you shouldn't call a woman a slut because it is anti-feminist. You shouldn't call a woman a slut because you shouldn't be bullying people.
I think so. With the, and I'm not real. First of all, I am a woman. I am white, but I am an MRA member. So I'm not a white feminist. So thank God we can still be friends. I didn't go to any of the women's marches. I haven't done any of that stuff but I was kind of familiar with it because being involved with the sex work stuff and talking about it.
Right.
Now, I got a problem with, and here's what's so fucking crazy. And we were talking about this earlier with the Occupy thing.
Yeah.
Here is, and I try again, like I try to not get so upset, but it's so obvious to me. We're in such a weird, it's not even gripe culture anymore. People just want to be angry. Like you're saying, they're looking for a reason to get mad, so they go on Twitter, or even in the feminists. This is why women can't get ahead, because we go, well, wait, but it's black feminists versus white feminists and Asian. And it's like, no, stop it. We're on the same team. But everyone's like, no, but they want to identify as, no, but we have to be separate because I want to make sure that my voice gets heard and I'm mad about this. And it's like, you can't work that way. And that's why the Occupy thing didn't work, because everyone's got their own and nobody's willing to go, let's all put our egos to the side. And we know we have all these other identifying things
Right.
about us that are different.
I'm a diva. I can admit that.
I can't
Right?
argue this.
But
yeah.
so when I understand wanting to identify with your culture and your race, your background, but as women, when we're trying to get together, and even sex workers, and there's a big divide in the sex work community, it's very divided because the marginalized sex workers are women of color and trans women,
Right.
And so now what happens is,
and even how they do that is divided.
Yep.
And how they do that is divided.
and what happens is
and they're still making less money.
and what happens, but now here
But
you go,
compared to male?
but what's the solution?
No, but like a trans sex worker and a sex worker of color is making less money than a white sex worker for the same exact job.
Not
Yeah.
if they're doing it right.
no,
Thank
it's
you.
not.
No, statistically they're making.
It also depends on what they're willing to do. Yes,
Right.
thank you,
Like-
Tim.
No, but here's the issue, and I understand being angry. I can see from point of view of a black sex worker, trans sex worker, being like, this is not fair. Now, so being a logic, I understand the initial reaction, like you're talking, like we have control over our emotions and how we choose to respond to things.
Okay.
I understand the initial feeling is to be mad and angry and bang on your prison cages.
100%.
But now, if the key to get out of the prison is hidden somewhere in the cell, do you think you're going to be able to find that after violently shaking, or you're going to have to calm yourself down, get steady hands, and figure out the solution? So with this anger thing where people's first reaction, and like you even said, when someone comes up to you, CVS, and goes, where's the Tylenol? Your first reaction is like, fuck you, right?
Right.
And that's fine. We're obviously really good friends, so I know why you react that way.
Right.
It's not just because, for people listening, it's not just because like I was in rain boots. That's not why.
Yeah.
But then it's something that individuals, we have to work on our initial response, because if our response is to be angry, that's not the solution. Now, all you're doing is causing more collision and chaos and anger. And guess what? If I walk into a room and I'm having
I
a
did
great
not
day.
spit in their face, which I think
But
I was controlling
yeah.
my anger because
You
that
really
was my
did.
initial
Yeah.
reaction.
But here's the
you
example.
shouldn't have gotten angry in the first place.
And it's not.
That
But
bitch should not have asked me that shit for free.
no. But here's the thing.
Another thing about strangers.
But why
talking to
not?
you-
Here's the
but
thing.
why not?
I
People-
don't like strangers.
People are fucking flawed. Why not?
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's not that you shouldn't have been angry, and it's not that she shouldn't have asked you for that. It's not a should or should have not happened thing. It is what happened, and then you got to choose how you react. Now,
Thank you.
for example,
Oh.
here's an example right now. Here's a perfect example. I'm in a great mood. I walk in to go meet Tim for lunch. I don't know
Yes.
that he had a shitty day. I'm like, okay, I have no idea that he had a terrible day. I walk in and I'm like, hey, can you move your stuff off the bag or off the chair for me? And if he's in a shitty mood, if he
Yes.
responds to me with fine, fucking with anger, guess what I do? Not be nice back. I go, whoa, what? Now I get defensive. So now I'm defensive, and now he feeds off my like, why is she being defensive? She must have done something wrong. So now you've got this bounce, this back and forth effect where nobody can fucking work together because everyone's mad and they want to go, listen to me. It's crazy.
This all makes sense because when that crazy white blonde lady, remember there was a very deeply mentally white lady who called the police because
I am
she was
right
getting
here.
Yelled at. She was getting yelled at by
No,
these
that's
black people
Yes.
who she
so
was
good.
harassing.
So good.
Right.
She was like harassing these. She was obviously very, very mentally ill. She clearly was like she needed to be immediately helped. And
You saw
she
those
was-
sunglasses.
she
Bad
was-
fashion
and
choice.
she
Yeah.
started talking to some black woman, and the woman was like, and she said, you should go back to your room. You're not well. And they're trying to be respectful. And she felt, and people started yelling at her to get out of here. And she obviously was sick, and she got.
Now you
she
see,
got-
if it was
she
me,
got
bitch,
freaked
I'm
out.
not getting paid to talk to you, and I just bounce.
And Marissa posted about it. And the woman called the police, and the police officer could not have been cooler about it. I remember how the police officer was just like, these people did nothing wrong. Let's try to get you some help, because the woman was obviously sick. And she deserved to be told you can't do what you're doing. When Marissa posted it, her post was, we don't owe you a conversation. And what's so funny about it is like everyone else is like, oh, I can't believe she called the cops on that woman. But Marissa was like, I can't believe she talked to another woman at the pool. Like,
How dare you?
She was mad.
How dare you?
Before the cops got called, she was just mad that a stranger.
Why would you
tried
talk to a bitch?
to another woman? Like, you have a real
So
thing
hold
with
on.
strangers.
It's
At
really
the
weird
end
to
of-
me. That's
at
how
the-
I feel about talking with men. I only make out for
So
money.
at the end of the day,
Bitch better show me my money.
with all the
This
issues,
pussy's so good, I shouldn't have to talk for free.
with all the issues in the universe, it all comes down to us as people. Like this is a blame podcast, so
Yeah.
we got to find people to blame.
Nice.
It's us.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, it's how we interact daily to daily. There's a lot of fucked up people. There's a lot of great people.
That's exactly.
But it comes down to how we interact.
George Carlin says something. One of my favorite quotes of
Yeah.
Carlin is very similar to that. And I love this quote because it's the smartest thing I think he's ever, just the simplest, smartest thing that no one else says. Politicians are not bad. They're people.
Yes.
People are bad.
Yes.
Any person you put in that position is going to act badly. Same thing with cops. It's not about the position. It's not that evil people get the job. It's that this is a job that apparently people are really bad at.
Yes.
And he says it's not the politicians that suck. It's us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when people say I hate politicians.
And
I'm
that's-
like, no, you don't know what you're talking about.
Like-
because they're just the same as you in that position. You're
Like,
just as fucking bad.
There's a dumb movie I really like. It's called Waking Life.
Love it.
Okay. There's a part in Waking Life where they do a before sunrise and sunset, whatever, with Ethan Hawke and the other girl.
Julie Depley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're sitting there talking about the crossword puzzles, where they go, they gave 2 studies where they gave crossword puzzles of the day and they gave crossword puzzles of the day before. And the people that got the crossword puzzles on the day before, they solved them because it went out into the universe and it was solved. So with that, and then the other people that got the day, they didn't do as well. So the reason why I bring this up is because we all have the choice in how we react. The collective consciousness that we all have. We can choose. Like, this is what I hate, and this comes back to Trump and whatever. There's, especially in New York, I don't know how it is in some other places. I haven't been around enough. But in New York, there's so many people that are so upset, so depressed, so angry. They go out to a bar to have a drink in a very good atmosphere, and there's great music playing, but they're so upset because Trump is president. And it's like, but you don't have to be upset.
I disagree with that.
No,
Yeah.
you don't. No,
We're
you,
actually going to have to wrap this
I'll
up
say
quickly.
this because there are
you don't have to be
There are
upset.
too many people actually suffering to make that argument today. And
Say
there are
that
too
to
many
any
people
of the
who are
children that are
going-
in cages
too
right
many
now,
people who are-
separated
But
from their
again, that's
families.
our
Suffer.
fault.
It is
That's
our-
our fault.
Not
That's
New
a-
York.
no.
They voted for Hillary.
No, but I mean, like, for example, our community. I can affect my community, and that's about the best I can do.
We
A
should.
lot of us think there's going to be this Jesus Christ, this fucking Superman that's going to save all of us
That's
when it
who
comes
they
down
think
to
Trump
the city
is, 'cause
council.
They're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But it comes
Okay,
down to
so
but
we're
it comes
gonna-
down to
We gotta
city
go, we gotta
council. It comes down to
And you should vote. Yes.
local. That's what it comes down
Act
to.
locally, I
Your
agree.
local stop sign.
Nothing matters. It's all simulation. Make sure we have time to plug. Make sure we have time to plug our shit.
Okay, so speaking of plugs, I'm
Dave-
going to start with Wendy Starling. Where
Thank
can
you so-
people see you, follow you on the interwebs?
Let's see. So my social media, Twitter at Wendy Starling, Instagram at WendyBird82. If you're watching live or listening live, I'm at New York Comedy Club tomorrow. I'm at Otto's first
We'll
at
not be out by
6:30.
then.
Okay, great.
That's why
Then
after all your shows
when
are over.
no, but guess what? Then guess what you can do when this comes out? This project that I'm launching Monday, August 6th, is called Priceless: Tales from the Underbelly, and it's a project I'm doing where I have collected stories from sex workers anonymously, and I am reading them and I'm releasing it. It's on Patreon. It's $5 a month for everything, but I'm releasing multiple stories a week.
Great job.
Tim
Look-
Warner.
Interesting. Everything I do is at I am Tim Warner, whether it's my .com, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever else. I'm doing a great show under St. Mark's Theater on August 12th. It's called DMT, Don't Mind Tim. I get belligerent, but it's basically Carson on acid. And I've got Melissa Diaz. I've got Tim Dillon from Netflix, Comedy Central, and I got Seton Smith from Conan. He's done Girls. He's done Mulaney, whatever else. But we do comics do 10 minutes, and then they sit on the couch with me for 10 minutes. It should be a good time.
Sounds great. I don't have
Dave
anything to plug.
Cyrus.
Yeah, nothing. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.